A cold wind howled through the dimly lit hospital hallway as two young girls stood shivering outside the ICU, their tiny hands clutched together in desperation. Their faces, nearly identical, were streaked with tears, their wide brown eyes filled with sorrow and fear. Emma and Ella, 10-year-old twin sisters, had no one left in the world except their father, who now lay unconscious on the hospital bed, hooked up to machines that kept him alive. "Please, doctor, you have to help him. He's all we have," Emma cried, her voice trembling. The doctor, a kind but helpless man, sighed heavily. "Children, the hospital has done everything we can, but your father needs an expensive surgery. If we don't operate soon, he may not survive. The cost is beyond what you can afford." "I'm so sorry." The word struck the girls like a hammer. They had spent days pleading for help, knocking on doors, searching for someone who could save their father. But who would help two orphan children with no money and no connections? Then Ella remembered something. She had overheard the nurses whispering about a powerful millionaire in the city, a man who was known for his generosity, Ethan Blackwood. He was one of the wealthiest men in the country, a ruthless businessman, but also someone who had, on rare occasions, shown unexpected kindness. With no other option left, the sisters made up their minds. They had to find him. It took them hours to reach his towering glass skyscraper, their small bodies trembling from exhaustion and fear as they stood before the grand entrance. Security guards eyed them suspiciously. "We need to see Mr. Blackwood," Emma pleaded. "It's life or death. Please." The guards scoffed. "Do you have an appointment? Mr. Blackwood doesn't just meet with anyone. Our father is dying," Ella cried. "He's our only family. Please, if you have any heart, just let us see him for 1 minute." Something in their voices must have struck a chord because one of the guards hesitated before picking up the phone. Minutes later, they were ushered inside. Ethan Blackwood sat behind a massive oak desk, his piercing blue eyes scanning them as they stood before him. He was tall, imposing, with an air of authority that made even adults tremble in his presence. "You have 1 minute," he said coldly. "What do you want?" The twins dropped to their knees, tears streaming down their faces. "Please, sir. Our father is in the hospital. He needs a surgery we can't afford. If you could just help us, just this once, we promise we'll pay you back," Emma begged. For a moment, there was only silence. Then Ethan leaned forward, his expression unreadable. "Who is your father?" Ella wiped her tears. "His name is Daniel Carter. He's the best dad in the world. He used to work at a factory before he got sick. Please, sir, you're our only hope." The moment he heard the name, Ethan's face turned pale, and his breath caught in his throat. A rush of memories flooded his mind, memories he had buried for decades. Daniel Carter. The man who had once saved his life. Ethan had grown up an orphan, abandoned on the streets. He had spent his childhood starving, struggling, barely surviving. But there had been one man, a factory worker with a kind smile, who had taken him under his wing. Daniel Carter had fed him, clothed him, and given him hope when the world had offered none. He had been Ethan's only family before they lost touch. And now, years later, the man who had once saved him was lying helpless in a hospital bed, his daughters begging for his life. Ethan's hands trembled as he stood up, his cold facade melting away. Without a word, he grabbed his coat and motioned for his assistant. "Prepare my car. We're going to the hospital." The twins gasped, hardly believing what they were hearing. "Why, you'll help us?" Emma stammered. Ethan met their gaze, his voice firm. "Not just help. I'll make sure your father gets the best treatment possible." Tears of relief flooded the girls' eyes as they rushed to hug him. The cold, untouchable businessman stood frozen for a moment, then slowly wrapped his arms around them, something deep inside him breaking free after years of isolation. At the hospital, Ethan personally ensured Daniel received the emergency surgery. He stayed by the twins' side through the long, agonizing hours, pacing the hallway, praying silently. When the doctor finally emerged with a tired smile, Ethan felt his heart pound in his chest. The surgery was a success. Your father will be okay. The twins burst into tears, hugging each other, hugging Ethan. And for the first time in years, Ethan Blackwood, the ruthless millionaire, felt something he hadn't in a long time. Family. When Daniel woke up days later and saw Ethan sitting beside him, his eyes widened in shock. Ethan? Is that really you? Ethan swallowed the lump in his throat. You saved my life once, Daniel. Now it was my turn. Tears welled in Daniel's eyes as he took Ethan's hand. I never expected anything in return. I just wanted you to have a chance. Ethan smiled, the weight of years of loneliness lifting. And because of you, I did. Now, let me do the same for your daughters. They'll never be alone again. From that day forward, Ethan made sure Daniel and his daughters never had to struggle again. He gave them a home, an education, and a future filled with hope. Because sometimes, the kindness we give comes back to us in ways we never expect. And for Ethan Blackwood, the greatest wealth he ever gained was family.